Tova. Top employment recruiters say now may be the best time ever to negotiate exactly the conditions you want when you're moving into a new job. With a squeezed labour market and Treasury forecasting unemployment to fall below 3%, job seekers are now holding all the cards. We heard that earlier from Business New Zealand as well. With me to discuss all of this and more is the Managing Director of Frog Recruitment, Shannon Barlow. Morena, Shannon, thank you very much for being with us. We've heard about sign-on fees, subsidies for gyms, flexible working hours. These are just some of the perks that we're hearing are being offered to new employees. Are you seeing more and more of that, perks on top of pay?
Absolutely, and I think employers are being really creative in the types of opportunities that they're offering and being to cater to the individual more as well.
Yeah, so I mean, should people go in there with I suppose, higher expectations and stronger bargaining chips as well when you're negotiating with a new employer, because there's a lot of competition out there?
Yes, there is. I think it's that balance. So you don't want to come in with a list of demands, but you should recognise that you are in a stronger bargaining position and to be able to take that opportunity to go after what it is that you want as well. So perhaps it's about creating that discussion and seeing what's on offer if it hasn't already been offered, and just to open up that dialogue rather than you coming in on day one or before day one with your big wish list.
So when I was speculating the other day about wanting a castle to be added to my employment contract, perhaps I'm coming in a bit hot?
Maybe slightly a bit hot there, but if you can talk about why that castle is important to you and why it matters, and if it's a deal breaker, then that's the way to go.
Okay, that's a top tip. Look out, boss. I'm coming for you with a business proposal for my castle. How do businesses cater for Gen Z employees versus, say, the millennial? What are the different kinds of incentives we're seeing, if any?
Yeah, so a lot of the incentives we're seeing is really looking at, I guess, that total package and recognising that the amount of time that we do spend at work. So we talk about that shift to life-work balance instead of work-life balance, where you're trying to fit your work in around your everyday life and other commitments rather than the other way around. So some of the benefits will cover things like health and well-being, might be financial advice, health insurance, community involvement, a whole range of areas. So I guess not just catering for Gen Z, but you've got to look after the boomers as well. So we've been seeing some really creative offerings where perhaps there's a selection of different benefits where you're able to tap into some of those that are relevant for you.
And more money as well, eh? Are employees expecting more money when they go into these negotiations now, and is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess the supply and demand principles still apply to employees and job seekers as well. So we have started to see some massive increases in salary, so up to 30 to 40% in some particular jobs. But I don't think we're quite seeing that across the board just yet. So in Q1, wage inflation had risen to 3%, but still not rivaling that almost 7% for CPI. But I think that will change when we get the next results coming through. And benefits can be a way to combat that if perhaps your business just doesn't have the capacity to compete with those big salary increases.
That's a really good point. If you can't afford to give them a whopping great pay rise, think about some of the other things you might be able to do to improve the working conditions for your staff. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Shannon. That's Shannon Barlow. She is the Managing Director of Frog Recruitment. It is an employees market, a workers market out there. So think about what you want when you're going into those job interviews, but maybe manage your expectations around demands such as castles. It's 27 minutes past 7. We're